Hi everyone, I am Saniya, and in this video, I'm going to show you guys one of the most powerful tools for a visual learner like me that could help you to learn about Python. So many of the times when we think of learning a programming language, it's so hard because we may not know exactly how it all looks behind the scenes, what's really going on, why does something override the other thing, like what is really happening. We may not really understand what that is. So what's super important is being able to visualize it. And as I was learning Python, one of my professors shared this really important tool. There's also one for Java. It's the Java visualizer. So here I'm just going to show you and introduce to you a little bit about the Python Tutor visualizer. So let's get started. And I really hope that this helps you as much as it helped me, if not even more. So to begin with, you can just look up Python Tutor. And if you click this, you're going to see that it helps people overcome a fundamental barrier to learning programming, understanding what happens as the computer runs each line of code. And this is so important, especially if you're taking computer science courses or learning to program. Many times you might need to know what exactly is happening. Why is the code acting a certain way? What is it thinking? It'll help you understand the basics to some extent. So you can click this pythontutor.com, and it's going to show you how you can visualize a lot. Like you can visualize what functions are doing. So if you have a definition, list some numbers. If not numbers, return 0, else return this. You can have the ability to look what's happening in the global frame, in a certain function, what certain values are inside this function. So if you call list some numbers with a certain parameter, what is going on? So we can just start visualizing our code right now. So you can write whatever code that you want. If, for instance, if we have a sample list, we can even make it like 4.0 Saniya, Santa Claus. I love Santa Claus. You can even have, here is a list inside one list. You can have a list inside a list. You can have another expression. You can even have a dictionary. So you can have this sample list that can be as complicated as you want it to be. And the idea is that if you read the sample list right now, you're going to see that it has 3 and 4 and Saniya and Santa Claus, and here is a list inside one list, key and value. So it's just one line, so we can see what happens. So when we run this line right now, we'll just see that we have a sample list, and then this sample list is going to just going to be a list that has these 5 elements inside it. So if you ever get confused, like how many elements are inside my list, right? So you could always just, print length of sample list, which is a data structure. It holds a bunch of information. I think of it like Santa's like little like bag of gifts, on Christmas. So you can see that we are having this list of 3 is one element, 4 is another element, Saniya is the third, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So you always want to look at these outer level commas wherever you are. And you may get confused, but this visualizer will help you kind of see what's happening. So if you have a sample list, it points to this list of 3 is in the index 0, then 4 is in index 1, 2 is Saniya, 3 is Santa Claus, 4 is this other sub list over here, which is here is a list, is the first thing that I wrote. Inside is the second element, 1 is another element, and list is a third. So this is like a list with many different data objects inside it. So I just made it really complicated just to kind of show you that, you can even see that this is a key and a value, and this is a dictionary. So it's pointing to an outside object. So those are objects that are wrapped inside. So we have just finished executing line 1. And this is the console. So if you were to run code in Python, what would you see? So this, it's a console, so you can see what this will be. So the next line to execute, if we click next, will be printing out the length of sample list, which is these 6 elements here. You have these 6 elements, and that's what the visualizer it allows you to do. It allows you to see this is the one element, this is another element here, this is a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a 6th element here. It allows you to see that and allows you to see how they're all kind of allocated. So that's something that's really important because you can see the indexing going from 0 to 5. So if I ask you to print out, or if you're asked to print out like print sample list at index 3, please note element at index 3, which will be the 4th element, because in Python, the numbering starts at 0. So you can then visualize it, and now you see that the 3 steps here, because now we have 3 lines of code. So we can just run it, or you can jump to the end, or you can go back a step. So this is last will take you right to the end. And the element index 3 will be Santa Claus 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that's how you can kind of figure out, oh, okay, that's what's happening here. Okay. So that's what is being called, you know, Santa Claus, which is that element that we were calling when we were essentially looking at sample list at 3. So I also prepared some additional examples. So we're just going to walk through that. So this is a little bit more another example of some things you can do. So, you know, you can write your name, which is a string. You can print hi there and my name. Then I wanted to show you again working with lists. Here I also looked at the S states here, South Carolina and South Dakota, which is this list variable. Then I also have another list of these W states here. I just show you again how you can have a print statement here, how you can index again, which is, this is one print statement. You can have it on multiple lines. And here, this is a giant, all the 50 states and multiple lines, you can have it. But you should follow the typical Python rules too. How you can slice a list, how it can make sense to you, having a random number, doing some addition, then doing some multiplication of 2 floats. And then this is an example where you have the A as 3, and then you override it. So you have A equals A plus some value. So you may know or may not know is that A is just like 3.0 plus 2.5. So this is just going to reassign A as being 5.5. But if you don't see it, this will help you see it. And these are 2 ways that you can write, do a for loop here. Please note another way of doing a for loop. And you can then visualize the execution here. So here there's going to be quite a lot. So if we jump to the last, you know, you can see that it's kind of a lot, right? So let's just walk through this step by step. So my name is Saniya. So right now we can look at the frames and the objects. So this is like a stack and this is like a heap. So the way that I was taught as well is that you can look at it like a stack of objects. And then this is more like a heap on the right, where it's like this, a little like heap, and usually the objects map here. It is a little cute little heap, you know, heap holds the object values as well. So yeah, let's walk through that now and see. So the global frame, my name is Saniya, okay. And so it's right here in the stack as a value. If it needs to point to an object, it will do so. And this is a global, because if I need to access my name anywhere, I can just do that. It's global, it's available in the code, it's not hiding in a function anywhere. So I can say, hi there, Saniya. So this just shows that I just finished this line. I skip over the comments and empty spaces, and now I'm just going to execute this line next. So list states. So it just keeps on going line by line by line by line, because the list is on multiple lines. So it's just like gathering it till it hits this end of list sign, these brackets. So we can see that we go all the way up to, I think we're just missing a state here. I think most people miss a state anyways. Anyway, so like, you know, it's like the 49 here, I might be just missing a state. It beats me which one I've missed. If I've missed your state, I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean to do that. So maybe you can let me know which one I've missed if you managed to find it. So this one is just showing list of states, and this one is states that begin with an S. So you can just see how the numbering works. This is 0, this is 1, this length is 2. This length happens to be 49 because we're missing 1. States with W is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. This is really helpful. So the length of number of W states is 4. So we have, so it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4. We can start here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 W states, and that's what length will show you. That the state in index 13 or the 14th state in the list, that's given by list states of 13. And the print statement is going to print, it's going to be Indiana. And if you're lost, why is this 14th state in the list or the 13th index, since it starts at 0? So like this is 0, which is the first element. 1, 2, 3. You can see like the number. This the second element. Second state is at index 1. So you just have to add 1 to the index to always find the element. So Indiana is the 13th index or the 14th state in the list, and you can see that over here. That's what this index is calling. And if we slice a list, if you want to get the first 5 states, this is the start, and the 0 to 5, what it basically it's telling is it's doing the following. It's just saying, I like to think of it like a wall, and all it is, it's like a wall here. So it's pretty much putting a wall at 5, and it's saying to start at 0. You always start at this number, and then you just go till you hit the wall. So you just start till you hit the wall. So you're going to just go from 0 all the way to 4. There's a wall at 5. You cannot include 5. That's the way I think of it. So you can just see that this first 5 states will indeed be going to Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, and California. If you're not convinced, let's also just say like we can have another 5 states. And we can have this from 1, maybe we can have this from 2 all the way to 7. And then you can see what that looks like. And that's the beauty of the visualizer. You can just see all of these things playing out. So the way that works again is that because we're looking at 2 to 7, why it chose Arizona for the slicing from 2 to 7 for another 5 states is because we're starting, essentially what we're doing is we're starting at for this part here, I'm showing this slicing from 2 to 7. We are just starting it at, so you can imagine there as just being a wall here at the 7. And we're just kind of starting from there, and we're just pushing, we're starting at number 2, which is Arizona, and we're just pushing till we get to that wall. So what that would include is pretty much everything here, which is just Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, and Connecticut. That's how you can think of, you know, what this is doing here. And that's how we got this here, which is, you know, these 5 states here. So that's exactly how, and you can visualize it and then see that happening there, which is really cool. Then this just shows you, okay, if you have a random number of 28, you know, pretty much these are not objects, they're just strings, integers. In Java, these are just like simple data types. And then they're like wrappers and other objects, you know, like arrays, which would actually be referenced in the heap. So simple ones would just be here. And you can just visualize another random number, another number, and a total number, which is just, you know, the addition. What's happening is that you're just assigning these two, you're just summing them up together, and then you're going to get this value of 90 here. So that's what you can see from that. Okay, well, that's how that's working here. You just add these two together to get 90, which is total number. Then you can even see floats, 3.0, B is 4.2, D, which is just these two being multiplied together, which is what this asterisk is a multiplication, the little star. So that's what D is. Then you can also see, so A is 3.0. And if you add 2.5 to it, which is what we just did. So if we go back the previous step, from A goes from being 3 to being 5.5 because we've added 2.5 to it. But you'll notice that D does not change because we evaluated it above. It does not matter. But we can override the value of A this way. There's also other code, A plus equals 2.5 is another way of doing it. This is one. Then you can also see, how does a for loop work? So if I want to go through all the W states and print them out, I can say for state in states W print state. So what you'll see now is, you can see that we're going to start right now. State here is going to be, this state is going to be here, and it's going to be referencing. We're looking at this list right here. And that's what the visualizer allows you to do, is to see what's happening here. So you can see that the first state in this list is Washington. So we're going to print Washington here. Then we're going to print West Virginia. See, West Virginia now becomes a new state here. The state becomes assigned West Virginia. So after we finish one loop, we're going to go back and go to the next state, which is West Virginia. And then we're going to print that out. Then we're going to go again. So we finished updating it to Wisconsin, you know what I'm saying? Wisconsin, and then we're going to print Wisconsin here next. So this line has to be executed next. And then we're going to lastly update it to Wyoming, which is the last state, and we're just going to print out Wyoming here. And then we're done with that. So we exit out. So we see, are there any more states? Nope, we're done. So we're just going to go here now. We tried this, and no more states. We've finished all the 4 states. And I print out the statement, as this is another way of doing a for loop. I also like this approach because this also is for I in range 0 to length of states W. And the length, this length is going to be a 4, if you guys remember from above. This length is a 4, which is what this is. So it's going to be going for I in range 0 to this. You can just do this. I is 0. Then you can go through I is 0, W state is Washington. It's going to go for this to this. It's going to map, it's going to just go into the index in this list and then print that out. So it's going to say 0, which is what this I is here. The I was 0 before. W state name is Washington. That's what it had gotten. You know, this I was 0. W state name is standard, and Washington is what W state is. Then I'm going to, in the for loop, I'm just going to increment it. So you can see the incrementation happening. So I is 1. Okay, now in this line, W state is going to be on line 46 updated to being West Virginia, which it is. And then I just print this out. I print out W1, which is what I is, W state name, West Virginia. And then I'm just going to print out new loop because we finished it. We're just going into a new loop now. And now we go back up here, and I is 2. The second index is Wisconsin. So it's just going to update that here. So you can sort of see what happens. 2 W state name, new loop. And lastly, we're going to have I is 3 because I is 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's just going to go up to the third one. So it goes from 0 to, the length is 4, but there's going to be, it's like a wall. So it's just going from 0 to 3 in indexing. You always can think of the commas like being like a wall here. So new loop, and then it goes here, and it really can't do anything else. So we're done. And you can see that here. So that's sort of like how you can visualize what's going on in the code, and please feel free to play around with this. There's so much we can do, and I'll be happy to make additional videos. But this is a Python visualizer. I know that there's also a Java visualizer as well. So I'll just show that to you as well very quickly, just so that you can know. And there are other videos that I can make to go over that too. So this is like a Java visualizer, cscircles.cemc.uwaterloo.canada. I think it's a really cool, it's really, really cool. The string, my name equals Saniya. And you can also see what that is doing. My name is Saniya. So this is a public static void main, but I don't want to scare you guys right now, like with this right now, but I just kind of wanted to show you that for visual learners like me, and if you are one, there are so many tools out there that can help you. I really hope that this helped you. So please let me know if you have any questions at all. And if you found that 50th state that I was missing, please let me know. Sorry about that. And thank you guys for watching, and have a wonderful day.